What if Revan and Darth Bane awakened during the Clone Wars? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Dooku covers his mouth and coughs as he tastes the corrupted air of Moraband. He didn't know exactly what he was looking for, just that he would find it here. Although he and Palpatine have formed a partnership, he is under no illusion of what it truly is, an alliance of convenience, one that is quickly approaching its expiration date. His master has no longer promised to change the galaxy. What his plans truly are, he is not sure, and he is not certain he will like it. But the only way to deal with it is to make preparations while there is still time. And on the home planet of the Sith, he may find all the answers he will seek. As he descends into the ancient ruins, Dooku finds a temple still standing and approaches, feeling a strong presence in the dark side, one that stands out even in the corrupted atmosphere of this planet. This one feels stronger, as if something still lingers from sheer force of will. That is the power which Dooku seeks. He enters the temple, keeping one hand on his lightsaber, and makes his way inside. Inside, the presence grows stronger, pulling at him, and then lashes out. All around him, smoke ebbs out from every shadow and begins to form a figure.
Why do you come to my tomb, Jedi?
I am no Jedi. I am here to understand the nature of the Sith and obtain its powers.
You seek power, but I sense you lack the drive and will to take it. You claim you are Sith, but the Jedi's weakness still clings to you. Be gone.
I will not be ordered about by some shade. If you do not teach me, I will learn somewhere else.
Bane lunges at him, his hands forming into shadowy talons. These slash at Dooku, who barely whirls out of the way. It rips through his cloak and into his tunic underneath. Cursing, the Count draws his lightsaber and prepares for the next attack. He sweeps his lightsaber at the spectral form, but the blow passes right through him. Looking up in surprise, Bane laughs and comes at him again, sweeping his claws out. Dooku manages to stop it and sweep his lightsaber. The ancient Sith's smoky form dissipates once again, preventing any contact, and it fails to damage Bane.
How underwhelming.
He roars and lets out a shriek that sends waves of dark energy towards Dooku, sending him skidding back. The Count stumbles from the attack, unable to halt it. But amidst the shriek, laughing echoes from the chambers as Bane watches him struggle. This only incenses Dooku further, and without thinking, he lets his anger take over and thrusts his hand out, unleashing a fork of lightning. It strikes Bane square in the mouth and leaves him reeling. The Spectre's entire head bursts in a cloud of darkness, but begins to reform. Then he laughs.
Now that is the power I was searching for. Perhaps there is a spark of power in you. Very well, young one. I will take you as my pupil.
Dooku nods and takes his hand. In the meantime, far off on Dantooine, the Clone Wars rage, and one young Padawan finds himself facing his trial to ascend the ranks of Jedi knighthood. Anakin Skywalker walks through the jungles of the planet, lightsaber held tightly as he looks around for his foe through the jungle. Frowning, he whirls around at each rustle in the trees, and then he senses it. A shape leaps out from the darkness.
I'm going to make you pay for what you've done.
Come, Padawan.
Ventress. The assassin roars out and sweeps her lightsaber at him. She whirls around in a storm, unleashing the full power of the dark side in a burst of energy. Anakin can barely halt these attacks as she moves close and gets past his defenses. It forces the Padawan to give ground, and as he steps back, she throws a force push that slams him against the trees. Anakin groans and sees Ventress approaching, her lightsaber pulled back into a slash. Thinking quickly, he hurls a shredded piece of his starfighter at her. She slows down long enough to slash it aside and gives him a chance to escape. Her blow strikes the tree, and he tries to hit her, but Ventress parries this attack and counters. Anakin whirls back and stumbles from the blow. Seeing how badly this fight is going, he retreats towards the temple. But Ventress doesn't let him go so easily. She leaps from tree to tree, chasing after him. The branches sway with her as she bends them to her will and hurls them at him. Anakin turns to block each one as he stumbles in the temple. A moment later, Ventress slams after him, sending a powerful shockwave. She smiles and advances towards him, dragging one lightsaber against the wall. Anakin readies himself and takes a deep breath, trying to calm himself down. But something about this place leaves him feeling angry. Rather than calming down, he feels his frustration building, and then, without warning, he springs forward. Even Ventress is taken off guard and crosses her weapons to defend against the attack. Seeing her falter, Anakin presses the attack and unleashes his fury. His attack grew stronger and his movements faster, but he feels off, as if he doubts. Ventress takes advantage of this and kicks him back. She twirls her lightsaber and lunges at him, but then a blaster bolt explodes at her feet, and then there is a sound of footsteps from the entrance as someone approaches.
Statement. That is far enough, bald meatbag. I would hate to have to disfigure you even more.
A droid steps out and points a blaster at her. Ventress looks up and shakes her head.
Move along, little scrap pile. I have business here.
The droid does step aside, but not for her. Instead, another figure steps out. Revan. He ignites his purple lightsaber and absently twirls it around.
I know what your business is, little one, and I won't let you finish it. So, make it easy on yourself and surrender now, before I have to hurt you.
Ventress responds with a snarl, leaping forward and using the Force to propel herself forward. And yet, Revan's parry is almost lazy. With a sigh, he sweeps his weapon and throws her back, sending her stumbling to the ground. Her eyes widen in surprise before coming at him again, swinging her lightsaber in quick jabs, but none of these even get close. Instead, Revan moves faster than Anakin and Ventress can see, his lightsaber a blur as he intercepts her strikes. From the chaos, HK-47 strikes as well, driving a vibro blade into her side. Ventress hisses in pain as the droid dances aside from her strike and twirls around it.
Invitation. There is plenty more where that came from.
Last chance, young one.
Ventress glances at the two of them, then curses. Deactivating her lightsabers, she sprints off and leaves them in the darkness. Once she is gone, Revan glances over at Anakin and offers him a hand.
Are you all right, young one?
I think I am.
Good, because we have work to do. Come with me.
He leads Anakin deeper into the temple, keeping his lightsaber ready. As they walk, Revan introduces himself, though he says nothing more than his name. Anakin can sense the power and questions whether he is that Revan. There is something undeniably powerful about him, an ancient, like he is out of place in this timeline. But Revan moves so naturally as well, like he has spent a lifetime in this place. That is, until he spots a hidden chamber that Anakin would have missed, and it opens a doorway that reveals rows of Sith holocrons.
This is what she was after. It seems she was worried you might get to them first. Well, let's put her worries to rest.
What are these?
Holocrons. Centuries of Sith knowledge of rituals and dark powers that will make the Jedi shudder. I sense a great power searching for them.
HK-47 begins working on explosives in the chamber, and then activates them. The two Jedi watch the explosion go off, shaking the entire temple. Dust pours from the ceiling like sand through a broken hourglass. The holocrons are reduced to glowing fragments, molten shards of ancient knowledge crackling with residual energy. They send dark energies flowing through the air. Anakin shields his eyes as the blast echoes down the hall. When it clears, he lowers his arm, watching the smoke rise and swirl like spirits fleeing their prison.
Was that all necessary?
More than you know. Knowledge like that doesn't stay buried. Someone would have came for it eventually. Better to destroy it than let it poison another generation.
The three of them return to the Jedi Temple, where the Jedi Council is equally surprised to see Revan. Although wary, they agree to hear him out. Revan stands in the center of the circle, his armor and cloak still singed from the temple. Anakin stands beside him, silent, watching the reactions of the Jedi Masters.
Powerful, this one is. And ancient. Clouded, his presence becomes.
You claim to be Revan, but Revan disappeared centuries ago. We buried that name in legend. Legends holograms are just truths with dust on them, and the galaxy is waking up again. Something is stirring, aside from me. I felt it call from the edge of the stars, darker than any Sith I've faced before. I destroyed those holocrons for a reason. There's something deeper, something old.
You want us to trust a Sith to stop a Sith?
Repentant Sith.
Because that makes it better. Yoda closes his eyes, meditating briefly. The Force swirls around him, humming with tension. When he opens them again, there is a flicker of unease.
Feel it, I do. A scream in the Force, yet to be heard. Dangerous your path is, but help us, you must.
Then let's find this thing, before it finds us.
An alliance is soon formed between the two, with only one condition on Revan's part, that he continues training Anakin. Although he is known as a Jedi Knight, Revan senses that he can still teach him more, and he senses great power within him. A red mist clings to the floor, swirling around Count Dooku's kneeling form. The shrine pulses with ancient life as he stands on Moraband. In front of him, the wraith of Darth Bane hovers, wreathed in smoke and armor.
You've come far, Tyrannus. You're no longer his pawn. You are mine now.
Dooku lifts his head, face shadowed, but his eyes burn with defiance and ambition.
He feeds me scraps, lies dressed as truths. But you offer substance. Teach me more. Everything.
Bane's smoky form glides closer. He presses a spectral hand to Dooku's chest. A dark shockwave ripples through him. The air crackles. Dooku grits his teeth as black veins flash beneath his skin, then fade.
Essence transfer. Dark alchemy. Force storms. Powers forgotten by both Sith and Jedi. Claim them and return me to flesh.
Dooku slowly rises to his feet. His saber hilt trembles at his side, almost sensing the change within its master. Now it is time to test those powers, as within a nearby battlefield, ash rains from the sky. Count Dooku marches through the battlefield, lightsaber humming in his grip. His face is calm, unnaturally serene, as if already above it all, the carnage around him. Alchemized droids stalk the battlefield. No longer standard separatist units, these are warped horrors of blackened durasteel and molten eyes. They move in unnatural jerks and flares of speed, tearing through platoons like beasts let off their chains. A Jedi Knight charges. Brave. Foolish. Dooku raises a hand. No saber, no effort. The Jedi's scream never comes. His body crumples mid-stride, smoke curling from his eyes as his mind shatters under a wave of dark energy. Lightning streaks across a swirling vortex in the clouds. Dooku stands on the bridge with both arms raised, robes whipping violently in the wind as the storm grows beneath him. Not natural, but called from the very heart of the dark side. The Republic gunships spiral out of control, caught in the storm's grip. Lightning arcs into their hulls, reducing them to metal rain. Behind Dooku, Bane's specter flickers, smiling, faint but proud. Soon the Jedi counterattack begins. But something is wrong. They fall before reaching Dooku. Some collapse with screams. Others simply drop, clutching their heads. No blade ever touches them. Dooku walks forward, saber trailing low, slicing apart what remains. The Jedi line heaps behind him, whole squads destroyed without a single clash. There is no longer a war. It is a purge. Dooku doesn't fight for Sidious now. That leash is gone. His movements are sharper, freer. He fights for legacy, for power, for Bane. Palpatine stands before a flickering holomap of the war. Glitches ripple through the display. The lines of victory and defeat have blurred. His apprentice is growing bold. Not only does he leave the shadows and lead troops personally, but he also fights to win. This is not what they had planned. Dooku was supposed to be a boogeyman, a phantom to instill fear in every man, woman, and child in the Republic. But now he is a true threat to them. His fingers curl around the edge of the console, his yellow eyes narrowed.
So, the fool thinks he can challenge me.
He turns to a holopad. Jedi Masters appear in blue light. Mace Windu, Yoda, Mundi. Palpatine wears his mask again, the Chancellor.
Masters, Count Dooku has turned from separatist to something darker. Take a look at this footage our intel gathered. I urge you, end him. Now, before it's too late.
But despite their success, there is still one thing Dooku must accomplish, and that is resurrecting Darth Bane and defeating Palpatine. That was his agreement with the ancient Sith, and the only way he could offer his complete support in creating Dooku's planned empire. The power to accomplish that is something even beyond him with his training. When he's not leading troops in the front, the Count reaches a solution to this problem. He looks for powers and spells that might help him bring back this powerful Sith. Yet nothing shows up, at least not with the conventional means. Traditional Sith powers are not sufficient for this goal, but he finds some texts that suggest dark magics like those of the Night Sisters might accomplish this goal. They have managed to practice forms of possession in the past with some success, though never as one as long departed as Bane. Still, it is better than nothing, so he decides to make his journey there and confront the Night Sisters regarding these powers. Meanwhile, Revan continues his hunt for this dangerous threat. He takes Anakin with him, using him as an aide, but also taking the time to mentor the boy. He is incredibly powerful. He would be the ideal ally, but only if he is properly trained. The wind howls outside, whispering through the broken stones of the Enclave in their current war zone. The fighting has died down, giving them a moment's peace to consider everything that has happened. Revan sits cross-legged by a flickering fire in the central chamber. Across from him, Anakin Skywalker stares into the flames, his brow furrowed, fists clenched.
They don't understand. The Jedi. They want me to pretend I don't feel anything. Like I'm broken if I care too much.
They're afraid. Emotions lead to chaos when not understood. But denying them, that's what gives the dark side its grip.
You felt it too.
I lived it. Embraced it. I fell. Rose. And chose balance. That is how I see you.
Anakin looks away, jaw tense, but something shifts. His shoulders ease slightly. Revan rises and gestures for Anakin to follow. They move deeper into the facility, through a door sealed for centuries. Revan waves his hand, and ancient mechanisms grind open. Inside is a training chamber, its walls inscribed with symbols in both Jedi and Sith script.
There's more to the Force than either side dares admit. Flow walking, a technique to glimpse echoes of the past, and sometimes the future.
He shows Anakin, guiding him. Slowly, Anakin closes his eyes, breath steady. The air bends. Visions flicker. His mother, Padme, Mustafar.
You must face it, but not with fear, not with anger, with clarity.
How? Every time I try to let go, it just stays.
Then don't let go. Learn to live with it. Carry it. But don't let it carry you.
Revan steps back, drawing his lightsaber, not to attack, but to train. Anakin nods, and as they clash in practice, blue against violet, the Force sings differently around them. Anakin feels it, the raw, untamed power of the Force. Each time their lightsabers meet, it sizzles and welcomes it. The power sometimes calls to him, especially when Revan presses him. With decades of experience behind him, Anakin struggles to hold his own. Each blow lands heavily on him, knocking him aside as he tries to defend himself. After one particularly powerful strike, Anakin skids back and glares at the Jedi. He feels the darkness flowing around him and whispering to him. If he embraces it, he can win this fight. Anakin lunges forward, but Revan blocks the attack and shakes his head.
It promises you power to help you overcome what obstacles come your way. But that is a lie. It will only bring death and suffering. You cannot let such powers use you like that, young one. If you must win, then you can do it only through your abilities.
Anakin takes a deep breath, and the darkness hisses at him again. But this time, he doesn't listen. When he lunges towards Revan, he's careful to observe his movements, studying every single twitch. He glimpses him shifting his footing, and then blocks the next strike. Their blades lock, but Anakin shoves him back with the Force and rams him with his shoulder. The ancient being stumbles, but then chuckles.
The technique could use some work, but you're learning.
With that, the two continue their training, and Revan shows Anakin how to refine his Force powers further by introducing him to new abilities. In particular, he teaches him about Force judgment and battle meditation. It is a difficult process as both require careful discipline, but Revan guides him through it. HK-47 helps as well, Revan letting him spar with the droid, who proves to be an expert at toying with Jedi. The work is challenging, but Anakin proves up for the task and soon puts it to the test. When the battles commence once again, the young Jedi leads the charge as always, but there is something different about him. His movements are more refined and organized. Instead of a reckless charge, he organizes careful strikes that hit the enemy where it hurts the most. When he does attack, the aura surrounding him is not like anything else, shining radiantly, with the mere sight of it inspiring his troops. His lightsaber moves like a storm, cutting through battle droids with ease and unleashing forks of orange lightning that blow through their ranks. In a matter of days, the battle turns around and results in a Republic victory. In the meantime, Dooku arrives on Dathomir, where the Night Sisters are waiting. Although the Count makes no secret of his arrival, he can sense the Night Sisters' presence, watching him and waiting for the order to strike. But that order never comes, as Talzin allows them to approach their citadel without issue. Once inside, she beckons them to sit down.
Please, sit. I understand you have business to discuss.
A proposition. We share a mutual enemy, Palpatine. I now have the means to overthrow him, a being more powerful than even him. But I require your aid in bringing him back from the grave.
To raise the dead is a difficult process. They must have someone of immense power to even attempt this.
In response, the room begins to shake as Bane makes his presence known. The shadows around them gather and materialize into his shadowy armor. Talzin looks up in surprise and nods in approval.
Most impressive. You are correct. There is a spell, but he requires a viable host. Someone of immense power who can sustain a being as mighty as the Sith Lord without burning out.
Do not worry about that. I have such a host in mind. Simply prepare the ritual, and I shall handle the rest. Together, we shall punish Palpatine for all he has done.
Then we are in agreement.
She gives orders to her clan to begin making preparations for the ritual. But while this happens, she sends secret orders to one Night Sister in the shadows to contact Revan.
Revan? Skywalker? Long time.
Both Jedi look up in surprise as they receive the communication, but they do not halt it either, as Anakin crosses his arms.
Suggestion. Perhaps the balding meatbag missed my handsome face.
I will say, I would enjoy it hanging on my mantle. But no. I come on behalf of the Night Sisters. We have information to trade. The dark foe you are seeking is here. Darth Bane.
Anakin's breath catches in his throat, while Revan exhales sharply. It is not a name they were expecting to hear, but as they do, they feel a chill run down their spines. Of all their Sith successors, Darth Bane was perhaps the most powerful. If he is returning, then there is trouble for the galaxy.
And why are you telling us this?
Because Dooku wishes to resurrect him to overthrow his master. He thinks we will help him because of the bad blood we share. However, truthfully, we despise Dooku just as much as you. Help remove two birds with one stone by destroying them.
And what do you want in exchange for that? I assume you desire a favor.
The Night Sisters remain out of your war when this is over. It will be as if you never existed.
And what about your role in the Clone Wars? All the war crimes you've committed.
As far as anyone is concerned, I died on Sullust.
If you think that will...
Done. Anakin, this is our chance. And well, the three of us aren't the ones to talk about war crimes.
Good. I'll send the coordinates.
But as Ventress sends the details of this plan, Talzin does the same with Palpatine, warning him of Dooku's plan and promising to reveal everything to him. Thunder rumbles across crimson clouds. The blood-red moon casts a haunting glow over the gnarled forests. The very ground pulses with ancient power. A gust of wind throws open the rotting doors. Palpatine strides in alone. Mother Talzin stands near a ritual pyre, her silhouette flickering against the flames. Her gaze is hollow, her fingers weaving strands of smoke into complex sigils.
You've grown careless, Sidious. Your apprentice burns with ambition. Soon enough, he will turn.
I did not come for riddles, witch.
He takes a step forward, and a blinding flash of light erupts from the rafters. Sidious spins, igniting his saber with a snap hiss of red energy. Dooku crashes down from the shadows, landing hard between his former master, his face twisted, eyes glowing.
The rule of two.
He strikes, energy seeping around him as Sidious meets the blow, but he stumbles. Dooku's strength is not his own anymore. The Count's movements are quick and precise, jabbing his lightsaber forward in a set of quick thrusts, but as he advances, a force storm begins to burn around him. Lightning bolts streak down and force Palpatine to dodge, as Bane roars in approval in Dooku's ear. These strike the ground around him and force the Chancellor to zip back and forth to avoid being struck. But as he moves, Dooku pushes down one of the massive stone pillars and forces Palpatine to double back right into the Count's waiting lightsaber. He attacks with precise, brutal fury, each strike heavier than the last, augmented by dark side alchemy. Sidious backpedals, deflecting vicious overhead arcs and unpredictable lunges. He snarls and whips out a burst of force lightning, but Dooku absorbs it into his palm. Sidious lunges, saber spinning in a whirlwind of red. Dooku meets it and breaks the lock, blasting Sidious backwards with a wave of concussive force. He slams Sidious to the ground with an unseen weight, crushing his limbs beneath invisible bonds.
Blood of tyrants, soul of flame, rise, ancient wrath.
The chamber groans. A scream spills the Force open as a massive spirit descends, a vortex of shadows. Darth Sidious thrashes as green fire consumes his body, his eyes widening in terror. The spirit of Darth Bane, a warlord of legend, dives into him like a spear. Suddenly, a violet and blue glow cuts through the green mist. A burst of Force judgment knocks the spirit aside as Anakin steps forward, readying his lightsaber. Revan and HK-47 follow as Dooku hisses and rushes at them. He unleashes a powerful force storm that detonates the grenades HK-47 throws. They spring forward alongside Anakin and Ventress, their attacks coming from all directions. When the force storm becomes ineffective, he whirls his lightsaber around, moving like a blur and intercepting each strike. They clash in a vicious set of attacks as the dark energy radiates off Dooku.
I sense the darkness in you, Dooku. One not of your making. Resist it.
Perhaps this power has brought the galaxy to its knees, and under me, it shall remake it.
He unleashes a shockwave as they are about to overwhelm him, just as he sees the spell nearing its completion. Yet Talzin hesitates. They were supposed to have beaten him by now. Sensing her hesitation, Dooku unleashes a sickly green burst of force energy, draining the life from her. She screams and tries to form a shield, but Dooku simply pours more power and sucks the life out of her and pushes it towards Bane's shade as he recovers from the ground. The Sith Lord roars in approval, rising to his feet and rushing towards Palpatine. The green fire vanishes. Silence. Sidious stands, but he is not Sidious anymore. His body crackles with raw power, his voice deeper, layered.
You dare enter my rebirth.
Dooku drops Talzin's body and rushes to them. A moment later, Bane rushes alongside them.
He's fully merged. Brace yourselves.
Revan and Bane clash first. The ancient Jedi lunges towards Bane alongside HK-47 and sweeps his electrostaff. Bane laughs as he avoids HK-47's attacks and twists towards Revan, who parries his strikes. Each strike between them ripples outward. Revan's saber is quick, spinning like a dancer's blade, countering Bane's raw, crushing style. The ancient Sith conjures a storm of telekinetic shards, hurling daggers of stone. Revan leaps, deflects, and redirects them into a wall. He counters with the Force judgment that forces Bane to deflect. Meanwhile, Anakin approaches and meets with Dooku. Ventress leaps from the shadow and whirls after him, spinning her blades to momentarily halt his attacks. Dooku's strikes are unrelenting, beyond what should be possible. Alchemical veins glow on his forearms. He hurls debris and force blasts at Anakin, who counters with speed and control, using the battle meditation to clear his mind from the chaos around him. Ventress leaps in behind Dooku, catching him off guard. Her blades spin in a red blur, scoring a mark across his shoulder. Dooku roars and pushes both of them back with a shockwave. Anakin vaults high in the air and comes down hard. Dooku tries to summon a shield using the dark powers, but Anakin takes a deep breath and unleashes another burst of Force judgment that lets him smash through. The impact cracks the floor beneath their feet, but once he is inside Dooku's defenses, he senses the full power of the Force the Count controls as dark energy emanates around him. Meanwhile, Bane summons a cyclone of Force energy towards Revan and HK-47. As the Force lightning bolt strikes towards them, Revan catches it mid-air, his hands glowing with energy. He bends the storm, twisting it into a spiral and hurling it back. Bane absorbs some of it, but not all, and is thrown into the altar. HK-47 follows up with a burst of his sonic blaster, and then closes in with a buzzsaw. Bane snarls and catches the droid and throws it back towards Revan, who leaps out of the way. However, Bane ignites the flames beneath Revan's feet, sending him stumbling back. Bane ignites his lightsaber and tries to drive it into him. The ancient Jedi dodges, but it strikes him in the shoulder. He howls out in pain as HK-47 rushes to his aid, sweeping his staff and trying to force Bane back away from his master. The droid fights furiously, sweeping his weapon back and forth, trying to put some distance between them. But, though he buys some time, Bane's lightsaber flashes and hacks off an arm, letting the staff clatter to the ground and throws him back with another burst of Force lightning.
You'll regret that.
Meanwhile, Ventress joins Anakin as they attack Dooku. Their movements are precise and aggressive, but the power the Count commands is overwhelming. He raises his hands up and darkness washes over both of them, followed by sickly lances of energy, each aimed to sap their strength. The two barely manage to halt these attacks as Dooku unleashes everything he has. It isn't just the physical attacks that affect them, it is the dark energy. They whisper in their ears, telling them to surrender, to give in to the darkness around it, and use it. Ventress is used to this and leaps from spot to spot, her face wrinkled in annoyance, but managing well enough. However, Anakin struggles to deal with this. His attacks grow more sluggish and less decisive as he's fighting two battles. But then he recalls Revan's teachings. It isn't about letting go, it's about learning to live with it. As the next wave crashes towards him, he takes a deep breath and then channels the energy, letting it flow through him and then unleashes it out in a shower of Force judgment. The blow strikes cleanly and hits Dooku across the chest. His attack is broken in an instant, and he stumbles to the ground, yet Ventress doesn't give him a chance to recover, and drives her lightsaber into his chest. The two nod and rush to aid Revan, who's facing off against Bane himself. Bane grits his teeth and sweeps a wave of smoky energy towards them, aiming to take Anakin down. However, the young Jedi refuses to yield and sweeps his lightsaber in a wide arc and dissipates it. Bane's eyes widen as the act revitalizes them. Ventress screams and sweeps her lightsaber while Revan comes from the other side. Their attack moves in unison, hitting hard and meeting his attacks head-on. Bane begins to feel the pressure as they surround him. Anakin lets his instincts take over as his battle meditation guides him through, rallying the other spirits and urging him on. Revan, in particular, feels their energy and rushes forward. When Bane raises his lightsaber to strike, Revan moves faster, driving his lightsaber into his chest. Bane shrieks in pain and recoils. He summons his power to strike back, but Ventress uses the Force to unsteady him. This offers Anakin a chance to leap up and decapitate him. With Palpatine and Dooku dead, the Clone Wars enter a confused state as both heads of state are gone, leaving neither side sure what to do. As they reorganize, it turns into a normal war, but the CIS is left worse off without its figurehead and soon collapses. But Revan and Anakin don't watch to see it, as the two leave the Jedi Order and begin tracking other signs of the Sith. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.